It's Mejia May.
If you want to make a beat that sounds like Benny the Butcher and Hit Boy's album Burden of Proof, it's really important that you choose the right sample. For this beat, I was inspired by the 8th track, Over the Limit, which features a synth-based sample. It's your boy Mejia Made, and this is how you make a Burden of Proof inspired beat. We're gonna first start off with the most important part of this beat, which is the sample. The sample I decided to flip is by an artist called Gabor Szabo, The Last Song. The VST I used to flip this is Serato sample. There are 3 interesting things I did to this sample. First thing, I pitched it up plus 2 semitones. The second thing I did is that I decided to turn off the sync button. And basically what this allowed me to do is that it let me be more free with the way I chose to chop this sample. And then finally, I decided to use the stem splitter from Serato sample and I took out the drum. That way the sample doesn't mesh with the drum loop I chose. So with those 3 things out the way, this is how I chopped up the sample. So as y'all can already tell, without even adding the drums, the sample choice alone already sounds like something fitting for the album Burden of Proof. If you want to make beats that sound like something that would come off from that album, the sample choice is really important. Stylistically, the sample alone already gives off that dark energy, something that you can actually hear Benny the Butcher's voice over. Another important thing to note is that the sample itself is pretty spacey. And what do I mean by that? For someone like Benny the Butcher, you don't want the sample to be doing too much, because when you think of the song as a whole, you want the bars to really stand out. You never want to let the sample outshine the bars. So after I had chopped up my sample, melodically, I thought it was just missing one element. I decided to scroll through Splice and I ended up coming across this sample. After I had time stretched this sample to fit with the BPM of the beat, I decided to pitch it up plus 7 semitones so that it can match the same key as the sample. I let this second sample loop every 4 bars, so now both of the samples sound like this together. This second sample fits so well that it sounds like it was originally part of that first sample. So now that we have the most important part of the beat out the way, it's time to attack the drums. Because this beat was inspired by Burden of Proof, I knew that the drums had to be gritty and aggressive sounding. But more importantly, I knew the drums had to complement the sample. I was looking through my different drum kits and I came across this drum loop. As you guys can tell though, that bottom end from the kick is missing. Because a lot of the beats on Burden of Proof are really hard hitting, I decided to layer this drum loop with my own kick. So I went ahead and layered it with this kick. So now with the drum loop and the kick I added, they both sound like this together. With just the drums alone, it gives off that gritty New York energy. That's something that Hit Boy did really well on every beat from that project. His drums were very hard hitting, modern, but still kept that traditional boom bap feel. Let's play what we have so far, which is the sample and the drums. So there you go, we're 75% of the way there. The last 25% we're missing is the bass. For the bass, I wanted it to be very sparse. For this beat, all I wanted this bass to do was to reinforce the sample. This is what the bass sounds like. Let's reintroduce the original sample and the arpeggio sample to see how something so simple can still make this beat sound very full. So So that's how you guys can make a burden of proof inspired beat. Make sure you stick around till after the intro so you guys can hear this beat in full. So by now, you should have a better understanding of how sample choice dictates the type of energy your beat gives off. That's how I was able to create this burden of proof inspired beat. Just make sure that in the process, you don't make the mistake of overproducing. Click on the link above to learn more of what I'm talking about. If you gained any type of insight from the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really gonna help the channel grow. With that being said, I'm gonna catch you guys next week for a new video. Until then, stay blessed.